Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavi Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracha. And today also we'll just touch it and then go. 39th, 40th verse we'll go. And somebody asked me to repeat the 38th verse. The 38th verse says, Sukha Dukkhe Same Kritva Labha Labho Jaya Jayo. Tato Yuddha Yujjasva Naivam Papam Amapsasi. It means any action brings about Sukha, Dukkha, pleasure and pain. There's no choice, Ji. Every action brings about either success, Jaya, Ajaya, or Labha, Alabha. Success, gain or loss, success or failure, success, victory or defeat, or pleasure or pain. These are all called pairs of opposites. But what is to be remembered at that time is, I have to, the only way to handle them is by in thinking. That is, both of them are results. They are not facts. If it is they're all, both of them are perceptions. They are in the form of thoughts. And both of them are non-eternal, please. All pairs of opposites are non-eternal. And all pairs of opposites are a part of creation. And all pairs of opposites are transcendable. And all pairs of opposites are mithya. This is what you have to remember. They are non-eternal, they are results, they are a part of creation, and they are transcendable, and they are a mithya. And therefore, let me go through them. Even though they say what cannot be cured, cannot be endured, also there is a particular saying. But it's not curable. It has to be, it's not just concluding that they are incurable. They are curable in thinking. Like snake is curable in understanding correctly. It is mithya. It is an error about the rope. That is curable. Similarly, Sukha Dukkha is curable. And Labha Labha are curable. And the success and failure, Jaya and Ajaya also are curable. Concluding that they are incurable, then it becomes a burden. Then you make a long face and endure it. No, in thinking, in correct understanding, you can cure them. Then in the next verse, it is said, 39th verse, Yesha te bhita sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shunu. In this, we have to see like this, Yesha te buddhihi, Yesha buddhihi. This understanding, this explanation, te abhihita has been given to you. Sankhye buddhihi. This nature of the self, which is otherwise called Sankhya. Sankhya is a word that was used for the Upanishads. But then later on they took that word Sankhya and they created a school of thought in India. And therefore they started using the Sankhya as one of the schools of thought. Every school of thought has a founder, but Vedanta doesn't have a founder. It is Anadi, please. It is whoever is the basis of the universe, the same is the author of the Shastram also. That is why Shastra Yonitvat is given. It's not a darshanam. It is not a school of thought. It is, if darshanam meaning a school of thought, it's not a speculated school of thought. It is a pramana grantha. Vedanta is a pramanam. It just points out what is self-evident. Speculating is different from pointing out. I know that this is the 10th man. I tell him, and having known that he is the 10th man, I just only point out to him that he is the 10th man. I don't speculate about the 10th man. The 10th man is speculating about the 10th man. But the teacher doesn't, Apta Purusha doesn't speculate about the 10th man. He only points out the 10th man. He becomes Apta Purusha, Apta Vakya. That pointing out is called Apta Vakya. And therefore, the word Sankhya, even though it has been going on as a Sankhya school of thought, but I would like to say that the word Sankhya originally was used by the Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita like this, in the sense of Upanishad. Eshate abhita sankhye buddhir yoge tu imam shunu, imam buddhim shunu. Now I am going to talk about karma yoga. Yoga is a sadhanam, please. It is not the topic. Yoga is, self-control is a yoga. Self-discipline is yoga. Right attitudes is a yoga. And this this is a sadhanam, please. And therefore, buddhir yoge tu imam shunu. Buddhya yuktaha, endowed with attitude, yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. Karma bandham means the bondage of action. Prahasyasi, you shall renounce. You will always renounce. You will be free from the bondage of action. What is the bondage of action? Every action brings about either sin or merit. And in order to enjoy the fruits of that sin and merit, you take birth again. That is the bondage. You're always there as a jiva to enjoy the fruits of your own actions, please. You are always there to enjoy the fruits of your actions. And that is itself called a bondage. Buddhya yukta yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. You will always be, this karma yoga is an attitude, please. Every right attitude is called yoga buddhi, karma yoga. Every right action is a yoga, it's a sadhana. It's not the topic, but it facilitates you to understand the topic. Every right deed, every right action, every right interaction, and every value, all these things can be considered as yoga. But yoga is not the topic here. Yoga is a sadhanam. But what about Vedanta? Vedanta is not a sadhanam. Vedanta is the topic. You are not a sadhanam. You are the topic, please. The topic means what is to be understood. Yoga is whatever facilitates your mental peace, whatever facilitates you to understand the truth. That is what is called yoga. Yoga helps you to remain peaceful. And every discipline is yoga. Every self-control is yoga. Every penance is a yoga. When you go for yatra, it is yoga. Even if you do anything, even if you remember a dead person and lit a candle for him, it is yoga, please, because you are doing the right thing. You are remembering the dead. You are not forgetting the dead. You are remembering the dead with a prayer. And therefore, in my view, yoga means here karma yoga. There is nothing like prayer, please. You pray to God to help you to understand the truth. That prayer is called yoga. And endowed with that your prayer, and do every duty of yours as a prayer. Not with a prayer, please. As a prayer. This is a prayer. After doing the duty, you can say, even during the doing the duty, in the back of your mind, you say, I am praying to God. This is my duty, and this is a prayer to the Parameshwara. But I expect something, and that is, I want to be inspired to know the truth. Because inspiration also, I can't use my mind to inspire myself. I have to find myself with inspiration. Therefore, God, help me to find myself with the desire to know the truth. The inner inspiration you create, the inner peace you create, the inner leisure you create. In this manner, you pray to God. That prayer is what is called karma yoga. Prayerfully do your duty. Prayerfully do your household duties. Prayerfully do your washing clothes. Prayerfully do looking after the children. Prayerfully do cleaning of the house. Prayerfully do every household chore. You don't have to engage another person. You just do everything. It is good for your health, and it is good for your mind, and it is good for spiritually also. If you do everything prayerfully, it is a spiritual deed. It is an act. It is a natural spiritual deed. If you do it for only a material result, then it is a kamya karma. It is a deed, all right, but it is within the bondage. You are not asking for the best. When you ask for the material result, you are not asking for the best. When you prayer, it is always better to ask for the best, and the best is to know the truth. If the ocean if the ocean asks for a wave or two extra, it's not asking for the best. The ocean has to ask for, please help me to understand that I am the ocean. Everybody says I am the ocean, but I don't see how I am the ocean. Please help me to understand that I am the ocean. The Shastra says I am infinite, but I don't see myself as infinite. I feel I am confined to the form. But why should the Shastra tell the wrong things to me? The Shastra says, look at yourself very closely, and you are infinite. Consciousness can never be confined. The source cannot be confined to the creation. Creation is non-separate from the source. The wave is confined to the water. The water is not confined to the wave. This is what the Shastra says. I am a conscious being. Consciousness is not confined. But I feel I am confined to the form. God help me to understand I am not confined, but I am comprehensive of all the forms. Consciousness is comprehensive of all the forms. As comprehensive of all the forms, as comprehensive of all the thoughts, it is indeed unlimited. And if I understand that I am unlimited, and there is nothing more to be gained, and therefore, oh God, I am asking you for the best. Please inspire me to know the truth, because that inspiration is the result of prayer, please. If I have to find myself with that inspiration. Right interest also is the result of right action. Right interest. If you have, the best interest is to know yourself. That is the best interest. There may be many interests in the world, to be a painter, etc., but that's not the best. To be a singer, it's not the best. To be a cook is not the best. Any role is not the best, but to be yourself is the best. And therefore, to understand yourself is the best. And therefore, yoga means asking for the best in your prayer. This asking for the best is what is called sankalpa in Sanskrit. It's called sankalpa. And when you sing in praise of the Lord, that is, you describe singing in praise of the Lord means you think of his nature. You think of the nature of the truth that is unlimited, the truth that is timeless, the truth that is not qualified by thought, the truth that is not qualified by the form, the truth that is not qualified by time and space and form and thought. And that nirvisesham means the absolute. Think of its nature is what is called prayer. God, and then when you say, this is what I want, that is why I said, Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Up to that is singing in praise of the nature of the truth. Means you highlight it to yourself. You think of the highest value of the truth. When you think of the highest value of the truth, that is called prayer. Then you say, then you ask for that prayer. From that prayer, God help me. Dhiyo yona prachodayat is asking for. Please guide my thinking to know the truth. It's a very beautiful prayer, Ji. Dhiyo yona prachodayat. Please guide my thinking to know the truth. When you say it and mean it, it is going to happen, Ji. Yes. Karma bandham prahasyasi. And therefore, what is this yoga? Yoga is nothing but any good deed connected to Brahma Vidya is called any good deed done with a prayer in your mind. God, inspire me to know the truth. And then that action becomes connected to the knowledge of the truth. When you say, may I know the truth, and that prayer becomes connected to the truth, Brahma Vidya. And that becomes the sadhanam. It is otherwise called antaranga sadhanam. Anything that, a very good attitude in your mind, a very good motive, a very good intention is called antaranga sadhanam. Every mental control is antaranga sadhanam. If keeping the house clean is bahiranga sadhanam, external facilitator. If you keep the mosquitoes away, it is so that you are not disturbed. It is outside facilitator. The peace outside is an outside facilitator. The peace everywhere is an outside facilitator. And that's why we say, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. 3 times we say, let there be peace within my health. Let there be peace around me. Let there be peace all over the creation. Let there be no disturbance. See, we all think differently, but difference in thinking need not create discomfort to anybody. You have a right to differ in your thinking, that is all right. But you have no right to make somebody's life uncomfortable. You can't trample on others' toes. And therefore, and that is also a kind of a facilitator, to think that I have no right. I have no right to trample on anybody's toes. To think like that is a facilitator. And therefore, Bhagavan says, I have explained to you the nature of the truth. What is the nature of the truth? It is free from time, it is free from space, it is free from form, it is free from thought. It exists, it is there in and through all of them. It is the material for all of them, and it is unqualified by them. That is the truth. Like the water is the source of all waves, but it is not qualified by the aging qualities of the waves, the graphic qualities of the waves. The waves can become bigger and smaller, etc. They come and go. This is all, they don't qualify. These qualities of the waves don't qualify the water. In the same manner, I have explained to you the nature of the truth. The truth is something that is in and through the whole creation, and yet it is not qualified by the creation. This sentence I am repeating again and again, because this is exactly what is to be understood in life. That your existence is not qualified by the form. That does not mean you are not there. You are very much there. If the seen cannot be doubted, the seer also cannot be doubted. Yes, evident. The seen is objectifiably evident. That is called sense evident. And the seer is, the one who knows, is self-evident. You are the self-evident. Truth is self-evident. Truth explains away everything, please. Only in the light of the truth, the whole universe is explained. The waves cannot be explained in any manner without the water. It is the water that all waves can be explained away as made of water. That is the fundamental explanation. There is no other explanation. The waves are big. I said the big is a description of the wave. It's not an explanation. You have to see the distinction between explanation and description. Description is counting the qualities of the waves. That is called description. It's a big wave. Therefore, big is a qualifying. It is a description. You are describing the wave. It is a small wave. It is a wide wave. It is a colorful wave. It is a rising wave. It is a born wave. It is a dead wave. It is a weak wave. These are all really the descriptions of the waves. But the explanation is, what is it made of? That is called explanation. What is its source? Pointing to the source is the explanation. And therefore, what is it that explains away all the waves? Water alone. The pointing, the arrow mark given, pointing to the water is the explanation of the waves. All waves are made of water. That is the explanation. Similarly, the universe, if you say this colorful universe, it's a description. This material universe, it is a description. This physical universe is a it is a description. This not changing of the world is a description. This transcendable world is a description. But what is the explanation? It is made of you. That is the explanation, please. Always think of the explanation. Don't think of the description. Description is nothing. Description is not this body. If you say tall body, it's a description. Fat body is a description. Is an Indian body is a description. It's a Brahmana body is a description. It's a sadhu body is a description. It's a hungry body, it's a description. Any description is different from explanation. Explanation means that what is it made of? This body is made of the conscious being that you are. That is the explanation for the body. Even every thought, good thought, bad thought, is a description of the thought. What is the explanation for all the thoughts? The source, that is the consciousness, is the material. What is the description of the world? It is a good world, bad world, it's a violent world, it is a useless world, useful world, good world, great world, wonderful world. These are all descriptions. But they're all made of consciousness. That is the explanation. A scientist cannot explain away the universe, please. Only Vedanta explains that the entire universe is made of your being, your conscious being, conscious identity. Your conscious identity is the explanation for the entire universe. Therefore, your physical identity needs to be explained. Your biological identity, biological form needs to be explained. And what explains away everything need not be, it is there. It is self-evident. What explains away everything is the truth. Truth is not explained. Truth explains away everything. Truth is not to be explained. Truth is self-evident. It is not to be explained. The jagat, the universe needs to be explained. It is made of you. Your conscious identity need not be explained. Your confinement, your thought of confinement needs to be explained. The thought of confinement is made of the consciousness. The thought of confinement is made of consciousness. And consciousness is not qualified by the thought. It is the illuminar, but man doesn't see the relationship. The conscious identity is the satyam, and the thought is mithya, the false. There is a truth-false relationship. Therefore, I have explained away the nature of the truth, and I have also explained away, I am now endowed with good thinking, right thinking. Right thinking is not, right thinking is welcome. Right thinking is not the topic. Your existence is the topic. Think about everything correctly. That is the topic. But have right attitudes. That is yoga. Do right deeds. That is yoga. And ask for the best thing in the prayers. That is the yoga. Ask for the best. Always be a devotee. Devotion is a sadhanam. Devotion is not the topic, please. Topic is yourself. How many times I have to go on repeating this? You think I have no other topic. Yes, of course I have no other topic, Ji. I have no other topic. I have only one topic, and the topic of the conscious identity of every living being. The conscious identity of every living being is the truth, Ji. Even a mosquito, there is a conscious spark. That consciousness confined to that mosquito form thinks that I am small. I am a form. There is an identity, that is a thought of identity. Mosquito also thinks that I am it finds itself with a view that I am this form. Every living being finds itself with a view that I am this form, confined to this form. But consciousness by nature doesn't get confined. It's not its nature to be confined. It's not the nature of the fire to be cool. It is the nature of the fire to be warm, to be hot. That is its nature. It can't change it. Similarly, consciousness, it is its nature to be comprehensive. Your conscious identity is comprehensive. It is a kritsnaha. Kritsnaha means all comprehensive, and yet it is not qualified by anything. That is why Bhagavan Krishna says, Matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu avastitaha. Meaning, Nachamatstani also, sarvabhutani also, he says. Everything is in me, nothing is in me. What does it mean? Everything is in me means everything is made of me. At the same conscious identity. And nothing is in me means nothing qualifies that conscious identity. Like every wave is seen in water, but it doesn't qualify water. The snake is seen in the rope, but doesn't qualify rope. The mirage water is seen in sand, but it doesn't qualify sand. That's all called the Vedanta ji. Swamiji, that's all the Vedanta. Then why? That means it's over. Why do you take classes for that? I have to keep on saying this, because man has to get back to thinking about himself. And for that I have to tell the again and again and again. Every shloka talks about only that. Pavanah punyana shravanam kuryat. Hearing again and again and again and again, he changes his habit of thinking. He changes his thinking. Now he thinks about the objects. He has to think about himself also. Like the 10th man, he always searches for the 10th man. Whereas the Apta Purusha, the teacher says, hey, that 10th man is not outside you, it is yourself. The 10th man understands he is the 10th man. Until he understands, he needs to be told, dinned, because that habit has to be, that habit is an age-old habit, it's a timeless habit. It's not that sense of reality, that sense of the sense that it is outside me is something has to be broken. A man has to be convinced that what he is searching for is not outside himself. What he is searching for is indeed his being. Peace cannot be other than him. It's not a thing. Happiness cannot be a thing. It is the being, happy being, serene being. Serenity you can't be. It can't be other than you. Serenity is serene being of yours. Serene fullness is not something else. The infinite cannot be outside you. You are the infinite being. That is why Vedanta says Tatutvam Asiti. And therefore now I am going to start the 40th verse. Every discipline is a sadhanam. Every right attitude is a sadhanam. Even serving the guests is a sadhanam. Yes, always have patience, that is sadhanam. Have right thinking is sadhanam. Whereas you are the topic. So in all my classes, I am going to make this distinction. The sadhanam, the facilitator, and the topic. The facilitator is Sarve Veda Yatpadam Amananti. It is all Vedas talk about which topic. All Vedantas talk about which topic. Sarve Veda Yatpadam Amananti. Tapagam Sarvani Ched Vadanti. And all the disciplines have the same topic to convey. And Yadichanto Brahmacharyam Charanti, and desiring to know which topic, people follow penances. That I am going to celibacy also. Tatye padagam sangrahena bravemi om ityetat, he says. That topic is yourself, which is otherwise called om. In fact, every jiva is om, please, by nature. He is the source of the entire, whatever he sees. He thinks he is confined, but in fact he is comprehensive. Comprehensive as itself, as himself. A conscious identity is comprehensive of everything, not in itself, but as itself. The water is comprehensive of all the waves as itself, not in itself. It may be comprehensive of all the fish in itself, but waves, it is comprehensive of all the waves as itself. Consciousness also is comprehensive of all the forms as itself, as itself. And therefore, here Bhagavan says, This sadhanam, this right thinking, right attitude, right prayer, when you pray, when a right attitude, discipline, and you say this as the facilitator you do, neha abhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate. When it comes to karma, bhakti or prayer, etc., when it comes to right attitude and right prayer and right discipline and right self-control, with the idea that I am doing it in order to know the truth, then it becomes karma yoga. This karma yoga, abhikrama nasha is not there. It has no, there is no such a thing. It can go waste. Abhikrama nasha means, supposing you raise a crop, and until the grain comes home, until you don't know what will happen to that crop. An earthquake may happen and then it may get destroyed, or there may be a flood and it can get destroyed. Therefore, every action can become a waste without giving any result. But your attitude can never go waste. That is na iha abhikramanashosti. There is no sudden coming to waste of right attitude, right intention, discipline for knowledge, prayer for knowledge, and self-control for knowledge. This is called yoga, and this can never go waste. Devotion for knowledge, it can never go waste. Whereas a ritual can go without giving you the result. It can have abhikramanasha. A ritual need not give you the result. It can go waste. Why it goes waste? Because you did not perform well, therefore it can go waste. There is a prarabdha. It can become a prarabdha. Prarabdha means because it is edited by your past karma. But this yoga can never go waste. Why? Because attitudes always, your attitude of prayer, self-control, discipline, etc., your right attitude for knowledge will always be there, trying to inspire you towards the knowledge. Nehabhikrama nashosti. Pratyavayo na vidyate. Pratyavaya is a kind of a sin, pratyavaya. When you don't do the omissions and commissions, if you do what is not to be done, it creates a pratyavaya. If you don't do what is to be done, that is also creates a sin. The pratyavaya, it creates a pratyavaya. But that pratyavaya here, your right thinking has right attitude, right devotion, your discipline for knowledge, your prayer for knowledge, your self-control for knowledge has no pratyavaya, please, because this is something that you need to do. Self-control is choiceless. Self-discipline is choiceless. Prayer is choiceless, because helplessness is felt by everyone. I can't inspire myself for knowledge. I have to find inspiration within myself. I can't create inspiration. In fact, man only finds himself with various things, with various interests. Aptitudes are also, he finds himself with the aptitudes. You cannot create an aptitude. He finds himself with an aptitude. That's all determined, dictated by the past also. Sanskaras. Sanskaras means like mental impressions and prarabdham, etc. All this we will see later. Neha vikrama nashosti. Pratyavaya na vidyate. There is no pratyavaya for the prayer. The prayer for knowledge will always be there with you. In whatever form you are there, it will continue to inspire you. Self-control and self-discipline also, entertained for the sake of knowledge, will continue to inspire you. Devotion for knowledge also continues to inspire you. Wherever you are, in whichever loka you are there, if I can find myself born in this loka, I can also find myself born in some other loka. I may not remember the past, gee. Even in this life, there are so many things which I don't remember. That doesn't mean you can deny it. Like you are coming to you are listening now. While listening, you may fall asleep also. Yes, when you are listening to Vedanta, you can fall asleep easily. Even if you are not even if you are suffering insomnia, you listen to Vedanta, you will fall asleep. Because Vedanta is very good to put you to sleep. And then you may dream also. In that dream, you may not remember that you were there awake. That doesn't mean you can deny that. Forgetfulness cannot deny the fact. When you go to the dream, you don't remember the waking, but you can't deny the waking that you had. And therefore, dream forgetful, just because you forget the last life, that doesn't mean you can deny it. Because the sense of individuality will continue to be there until it is corrected. The sense of confinement will always be there. The continuity of the sense of confinement is what is called the rebirth. Rebirth is not an event. It is continuity of a view. It is a continuity of a view. It is a continuity of a perception. No wrong view. Like for generations, it was thought that there was it is the sun that goes around the earth. For generations, until it was corrected, it went on. Everybody went on thinking. Similarly, man can go on thinking. Man can go on thinking that he is confined to the form until he discovers that he is not confinable. As a conscious being, he is not confinable at all. Until that correction, the error continues to be there. The view continues to, that continuity of the wrong view, uncorrected view from life to life is what is called rebirth. You can't really, because here, when a person leaves the form, it doesn't mean he dies, he becomes nothing. His mind only resolves unto the source. Because we don't experience an incident in which something becomes nothing. Something coming out of nothing also we don't experience, and something becoming nothing also we don't experience. Everything really maintains its existence in some form or the other. When the flame of a lamp, it just disappears, we call it has become nothing. That's not true. The warmth of that flame has gone to the warmth of the whole, the universal warmth is there. It is the light principle goes to the light. It becomes a part of the elements. And therefore, nothing becomes, no, when the wave dies, we think it becomes nothing. No, it goes back unto the source. Similarly, when man dies, his mind goes, his thinking goes back unto the source consciousness. Consciousness doesn't go back, everything goes back unto consciousness. Like silence doesn't go back unto another silence. The sound, the noise goes back unto silence. Silence is your nature, please. Silence doesn't appear and disappear. All appearances and disappearances happen in silence. And that silence is your existence. You can't think of silence as something other than you. And therefore, neha bhikrama nashosti pratyavayo na vidyate. Your right attitude for knowledge, your devotion for knowledge, your prayer for knowledge, your self-discipline for knowledge, your self-control for knowledge, your penance for knowledge, your tapasya for knowledge, your yatra for, your pilgrimage for knowledge. These things can never go waste. Abhikrama nashosti, neha abhikrama nashosti. And they don't have any, even if you don't have to take a bath and think of, have self-control. Self-control can be done without any, it's not a ritual. Self-control is not a ritual. Self-discipline is not a ritual. It's a need. It's not a ritual. It is your need for knowledge. It is a facilitator of knowledge. Prayer is a need. Ritual is not a need. Prayer is a need. It is directly connected to your life, your happiness, your peace. And therefore, ritual is not your need. And therefore, ritual is your desire, but self-control is your need. There is a difference between a need and a desire. When you want to become the Prime Minister of America, that is your desire, that is not your need. Your need is to control your anger. Your need is to control your greed. Your need is to control your jealousy. Your need is to control yourself, your violence, your violent mood. You need to control. That is your need, G. And desires are different from needs. And therefore, self-control is your need. Self-discipline is your need. Prayer is our need, G. It is our daily need. Like a daily bath is our need. It's not a ritual. Taking food is our need. Breathing is our need. And that is why when you think of our need, it is called purushartha. Purushartha means it is our need, our choiceless need. Therefore, neha vikramanashosti prati. Therefore, you don't have to have you don't have to fulfill any conditions for self-control. You don't have to, it is not something that you have to go through a snanam, etc. There is no time, place, and avastha. In every situation, you need self-control. In every situation, you need self-discipline. At every time, you need them. At every place, you need them. In every situation, you need them. Therefore, it is sarvatra you need. Sarvatra means at every time, at every place, in every situation, you need. You need self-control, self-discipline, and right attitude, and prayerfulness. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Even a little of this yoga buddhi, even a little of this right attitude, right thing being asked in the prayer, and right discipline, and right self-control, even swalpamapyasya dharmasya, even a little of it, trayate mahato bhayat, it can liberate you from great fears. Even a little of self-control, little of self-discipline, a little of right thinking can liberate you from great fears, great insecurities. Yes, even a little freedom from superstition is a great liberation from freedom. And therefore, swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. And therefore, it is important. Yes, topic is important, but the path to understanding that topic also is important. That is why Satyam is important. But the path to Satyam also has to be Satyam. The path to understand the truth is also laid by the truth. It is in the form of the truthfulness. Truthfulness is the facilitator. Truth is the topic. Truthful living is the facilitator. Truth is the topic. Truthfulness, truthful living is the sadhanam, and the truth is the topic. You are the truth, Ji. And if you are living truthfully, if you think truthfully, if you are honest, etc., if your values are right, and if your prayers are right, what you ask in prayers are the right things, material need is not really, need not, having faith, when you are asking from Bhagavan, you should ask for the best. And the best thing that you can ask is only this. That is, God help me. If you can give me this. That is, inspire me to know myself. Help me to understand the truth that He is myself, my existence. The serenity. Help me to understand how the entire universe is rooted in serenity. And that serenity is my being. Serenity cannot be one of the things. Everything appears in serenity and resolves in serenity. And that serenity is the topic, is the truth, whom we call Bhagavan. Bhagavan is not a thing. Bhagavan is the one in which everything appears and everything disappears. Like water, all waves appear in water and all waves disappear in water. And therefore, water is given as a simile for the truth. The waves are given as a simile for the creation, for the appearances and disappearance. Life appears and disappears in the truth. It appears in the truth and disappears in the truth. And as the truth, we are always there. We cannot disappear. What disappears? There is no disappear and becoming nothing. There is no such a phenomenon called something becoming nothing. Therefore, there is no death as such. Therefore, swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little of prayer, proper prayer, hearty prayer or heartfelt prayer, the prayer from your heart, duty done as a prayer, self-control done as a prayer, self-control or self-discipline done as a prayer. These things they don't ever become waste. They will always remain with you. They keep inspiring you to know the truth. And a little of it also can liberate you from great sense of insecurity. And the more of it we will see later. Thank you. Next verse, 41st verse, we will see in the next class. If you have any questions, you can always put it in the YouTube comment section. Okay, thank you. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Please look after yourself.